Sri Swarupananda Brahmachari is an Indian yogi of highest eminence and stature and a living enlightened guru of the greatest spiritual lineage of Kriya Yoga of Mahavatar Sri Babaji Maharaj and Yogiraj Sri Shyamacharan Lahiri Mahasaya. Being an incarnation of love, compassion, and magnanimity, he is revered as Premavatar by his disciples and devotees all over the world. He has initiated innumerable fortunate souls into the sacred royal science of Kriya Yoga. He has dedicated his entire life in propagating the teachings of Kriya Yoga worldwide as directed by his esteemed guru, a spiritual giant and Kriya Yogi, Sri Hariharananda Paramahamsa. He is the founder of the Kriya Yoga mission in Kolkata and is the author of the highly acclaimed book Kriya Yoga. His grace, benevolence, and guidance transform the lives of Kriya practitioners and devotees and protects them from all perils and constraints. He always maintains the traditional secrecy of Kriya Yoga as a top priority. He is highly adored and venerated by all disciples who laud him with different names such as Gurudev, Guru Baba, Guruji, Baba, among others. Gurudev was born on 8th of March in the year 1954 at Habibpur village in the Nadia district of West Bengal. He was born to his highly spiritual parents, namely Narendranath Boshu, his father, and Ashoka Devi, his mother. His birth name is Tapankumar Boshu. Since childhood, he developed a high spiritual aspiration that made him distinctive from other children of the same age group. He always kept himself consciously detached from the external world and never got attracted by the glitz of materialism. His strong aversion towards name, fame, and wealth from the very childhood marked the incarnation of a great spiritual soul. Since childhood, Baba was very intelligent and studious, having great concentration power. He obtained a master's degree in English literature from the University of Calcutta. His extraordinary command over the English literature attracted many students. After the completion of his formal education, he was being recruited in the Indian Railway Services, where he rendered his duty with utmost sincerity and dedication. Although Gurudev was readily ascending the ladder of growth at service, yet he stepped out of his job as per the divine will and command of his gurus to propagate the teachings and messages of his great predecessors. No worldly possession whatsoever was able to entice him. None was ever been able to lure him and distract him on his spiritual duty. Even during his little span of service life, Guruji initiated many into Kriya Yoga. Having an intense spiritual urge since childhood, Gurudev was initiated into Kriya Yoga at the tender age of 8 years only by a world-renowned guru Sri Hariharananda Paramahamsa, who used to live in the same village as Guru Baba. Sri Hariharananda Ji is regarded as one of the brightest luminaries. His serene presence and divine appearance always inspired awe and reverence among the saints and ordinary people. His deep compassion, fathomless knowledge in scriptures, and immortal teachings made him a legendary spiritual master. Getting initiated by such a spiritually empowered yogi was a great fortune to Guru Baba. Here it is worth mentioning that Sri Hariharananda Ji himself visited the house of Baba and expressed his will to Baba's parents to initiate the young child into Kriya Yoga. This signifies the high spiritual samskaras with which Guruji was endowed with by birth. From the beginning itself, Gurudev was very fond of and dear to his beloved Guru and practiced Kriya Yoga techniques with utmost sincerity and devotion. He always used to abide by his Guru's words and teachings. Successively, he got initiated into all the advanced stages of Kriya techniques by Sri Hariharananda Ji. He was given the spiritual name Swarupananda by his esteemed guru and was bestowed the designation of a Yogacharya at a very early stage of his spiritual life. On 19th of April 1979, he was initiated into Brahmacharya and Sannyas, monkhood, by his revered guru Sri Hariharananda Ji and was conferred the title of Brahmachari. Since then, Baba came to be known as Sri Swarupananda Brahmachari throughout the world. As per the will of his beloved Guru, Guru Baba got married to a very pious lady, namely Srimati Sritikona Boshu, Guru Ma, as the disciples call her in sheer love and affection, and started the life of a householder yogi. However, he always followed the strict life of a brahmachari. Guru Ma not only supported him in every sphere of life, but also actively involved herself in the management and maintenance of Kriya Yoga mission and various social welfare deeds. Guru Ma's conscious sacrifices towards living a strict spiritual life made her the perfect consort of Gurudev. By his intense practice and ardent devotion towards his guru, Sri Hariharananda Paramahamsa, in the year 1979, Gurudev attained the highest spiritual stage of yoga, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, complete communion with God. His monumental achievement, which is the ultimate goal of every yogi and spiritual seeker, came at an unbelievable young age. This not only denotes the fact that Kriya Yoga is the fastest road towards self-realization, but also establishes the power of practice and devotion towards achievement of the seemingly impossible result within a short period of time. This is why Sri Swarupananda Brahmachari always says, "An assiduous devotee and sincere practitioner of Kriya Yoga can experience a perceptible change of the body and mind within a very short span of practice and is able to reach the supreme goal in sadhana." He always keeps the disciples under keen observation and motivates and rectifies them as and when necessary, thus accelerating their spiritual growth. Guru Baba has graced himself in the company of great sages of other renowned spiritual lineages of India, including Sri Omkarnaji, Sri Atmadev Abadut, and sages belonging to Bharat, Shevashram Shanga from his childhood. He attained an inexplicable exaltedness that by his conscious choice has eluded all forms of propaganda and publicity. He always discharges all his worldly duties and responsibility with perfect detachment while retaining himself in the spiritual realm. Being an extremely disciplined, witty, jovial, loving and caring personality, Baba's divine presence and childlike smile bestows instant peace and solace, and at the same time his splendor and effulgence grants a sense of complete protection and security in the mind of the devotees and Kriyavans. His untiring efforts to propagate the teachings of gurus and selfless work towards the spiritual upliftment of humanity is what made him the most sought-after spiritual guru in present time. Being an ordained and anointed guru in the spiritual tradition of Kriya Yoga, Gurudev teaches and imparts Kriya Yoga techniques directly to his disciples. He always emphasizes the ideal of his esteemed guru Sri Hariharananda Ji that an ounce of practice is further better than tons of theory. This is why he never puzzles the disciples and seekers with the complex spiritual dogmas and jugglery of vocabularies. His distinctive way of clarifying all doubts from the devotee's mind with effortless ease and coherency complements his unique style of teaching. His simple, straightforward, and meticulous way of teaching has transformed innumerable lives. He always leads by example. Gurudev initiates true spiritual seekers from all over the world, irrespective of nationality, religion, caste, creed, sect, and gender, directly into the techniques of Kriya. He often travels throughout India to propagate Kriya Yoga and to initiate seekers nationwide. He always maintains the traditional secrecy of Kriya Yoga as a top priority and inculcates the same in his disciples. Baba constantly reminds the disciples about the significance of offering love and devotion to Guru as the prior and foremost requisite in the advancement of sadhana. He also connotes the importance of being in regular contact with the Guru to overcome the hurdles and impediments in the practitioner's path. During initiation, Gurudev activates the sleeping Kundalini energy within the disciple's body by imparting and infusing his divine energy. Besides this, he also negates the bad and harmful effects of the disciple's past karmic deeds to catalyze his or her spiritual growth. His grace and benevolence bestowed upon his disciples have enabled them to overcome physical, psychological, and other practical constraints of the inescapable material world that otherwise would have hindered their spiritual upliftment. Guruji is an eloquent and articulate discourser. When he expatiates, all the devotees are left astonished in awe and amazement. He personally graces his disciples and devotees every weekend at his residence in Bulgaria, Kolkata, also known as Kriya Yoga Mission. Besides, he forever remains in the purview of approach to all disciples through various methods of online communication. He often guides and impacts his teachings to disciples residing in foreign countries through Skype. His keen and kind communicativeness further consolidates the guru-disciple relationship. Such close communication and guidance received from him is inexplicably beneficial for all practitioners. Sri Swarupananda Brahmachari wrote the book entitled Kriya Yoga in 3 languages: Bengali, English, and Hindi. The book has received wide circulation and immense popularity. This book appeals its uniqueness due to its original content and composition based on Gurudev's direct experiences and perceptions. The unexaggerated detailing, intelligently compiled chapters, simple presentation, and profound explanations have considered this book as a must-read for every spiritual seeker. Baba has beautifully elucidated in this book the feelings of various stages of Kriya Yoga, along with the benefits and spiritual significance in present time. He also signified in this book the effectiveness of regular Kriya practice on the physical body, its relation to the hormonal glands, and its extensive potential towards empowering the mind. He has also discussed briefly about the different life currents, vayus, and the 5 sheaths, pancha koshas, comprising the gross and subtle bodies of a human being. In April 2013, the first edition of the book was published in Bengali version that went out of print within a short span of time and had to be reprinted soon. The scientific approach of this book, together with its precise content, made it a high-demanding book. As per repeated requests from devotees and seekers all over the world, later 2 other versions of the book, English and Hindi, have been published. The English version being first published on April 2018, and the Hindi version was first published on January 2020. In 2021, the book was translated into Spanish and published as a Kindle version. Recently, his book called Divine Wisdom was published in English. In this book, Baba presents his quotes about life and spirituality. The ease of comprehensiveness, lucidity, and brevity of his books and their cogent exposition have been highly appreciated and acclaimed by a variegated readership comprising both Kriyavans and non-Kriyavans. Needless to say that his books have not only attracted many into the path of Kriya Yoga, but have also transformed the mindset of many towards spirituality.